Hello and welcome to another week of the Championship Wrap. I am Eloise Sawyer and this week I am very fortunate enough to be joined with Leon Price. Thanks so much for coming in, Pricey.
Thank you.
We will be, of course, previewing all of round 10 to come up in the Championship and also in League One. But of course, we'll start off with round 5 of the Challenge Cup. And Leon, it would only make sense if we started with your own team, Workington, up against Leeds. That was a huge occasion. And while the scoreline was quite massive, you say, 78-6. I mean, it was still a momentous occasion for your team.
Yeah, it was. There's lots of our players who have never played against a Super League team before. You know, we went to Headland Stadium. Really big occasion. Fantastic for our boys. Some of our boys had been working during the day and had to then travel down all the way down from Cumbria and play. But we enjoyed the occasion. We had some great fans. I think we had over 500 fans turn up. We just got caught a little bit in the headlights and the occasion got to us a little bit too much, I think.
How did you sort of keep your players mentally intact? I mean, 50, 60 minutes again when that scoreline is just absolutely blowing out of proportion. How do you sort of keep them mentally there to sort of stick in and still give it their best shot?
We spoke about half time. We just said, listen, we've got loads of fans here. Let's keep it respectable. You know, they've come a long way to watch us play. Believe in yourselves a little bit. Once you realise that they're just a normal group of players, they're not, you know, we're playing on a piece of grass. It's normal. The normal athletes.
Back to basics.
Yeah, back to basics. We're on a piece of grass. Don't worry about the stadium. Don't worry about the experience of the other players. They're just normal men. And once we did that, we calmed down and we were okay.
Well, let's talk about some of the other big championship games or some of the other Challenge Cup games that happened over the weekend. One of the ones is Bradford Bulls, Featherstone Rovers. Bradford managed to come back with 9 minutes to go, 18 points behind to take it 27-26. That is remarkable.
Ridiculous, yeah. I think Elliot Minchilla, he kicked a goal from the sideline to level things up, which were a massive kick. It was right on the left-hand side touchline. And then right on the buzzer, Jordan Lilly comes up with a 45-metre drop goal and to win in the game. And Jordan Lilly is a massive player for Bradford Bulls. But I really like Rowan Mills, who plays at stand-off, left-foot kicker. He put some nice little kicks over to the corner for the half-back to jump into contest for. He's only young, but he's really growing in confidence as the season progresses.
Let's take a look at all the highlights from Bradford Bulls' impressive victory over the Featherstone Rovers.
It's 0-0. They're in a dangerous position. Maskell to Makatoa, out to Boas. Good, quick, fast hands. They're in at the corner, and it will be a try here for Featherstone. Wilde looks towards Mills, fires it to Mills. Mills to Lilly. Lilly shows the dummy, finds the gap, and Ethan Ryan will waltz in past the Featherstone Rovers defence. They've got a minute remaining, and they're looking for more points. It goes to Davis, busses in, and it's a flick-on pass after sucking in Ethan Ryan. 2 metres out once again, attacking that Bradford line. Harrison's over the line, 40 metres out. Tension in the air, the Bulls need something. Bussy to Davis. Davis's pass to Walters. Walters is away. Walters sucks in Ryan. And defogging Johnston with a try-saving tackle. But he's just going to get there. The referee will point the finger again. Down 5 metres out. Wilde to Lilly. To Farrell. Farrell, short pass. They're in at the corner. Dalton Grant's in. The try's given. 2 metres shy of the line. It's the last tackle. Mills, what's he got in his box of tricks? It's a try. The Bulls are over. The Bulls are in. The referee's going to point the finger. Here we go. Webster scoops it up at dummy half. To Lilly, to Mills, Mills, to Wilde, to Ryan, Ryan keeps it going, Johnston's in at the corner, oh my word, that's not rugby league, that is something from the circus, it's now another for the Bulls, they're in position with Jordan Lilly from 38 metres out, that one's there, Lily's got it, Jordan Lilly for the Bradford Bulls, unbelievable, the hooter and sounding, the Bradford Bulls are in the 6th round draw of the Coral Challenge Cup.
That'll certainly give Bradford Bulls some sort of momentum and also encouragement for where they can end up in this championship game to come back from such a deficit in 18 points. That's pretty unheard of.
Well, yeah, absolutely. They should give you some massive belief. Really and truly, Featherstone shouldn't be losing the game from there. But on the same token, you've got to give big plaudits to Bradford. I mean, 18 points down with nine to go it's a big task, and they did it quite convincingly as well. So it's good for John Keir's men to get some belief that they can still come from behind in games and get the win.
Another big one was Doncaster in a League One team coming up and beating Batley Bulldogs 16-12. That's a huge upset as well.
Massive surprise, because Batley had beaten Widnes the previous week, so it looked like they were kind of turning things around. But they've been really inconsistent this year, have Batley. But for Richard Orr and the Doncaster boys, it's a huge win, and that's something they'll be looking to kind of build their season in League One on the back of that result.
How have they been travelling in League One? Are they one of the teams that you don't sort of put towards when you guys come up against them as one of the tough teams?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're one of the 4 or 5 teams that have got a definite chance of winning it. Really, we lost to them. They were the first team that we lost to this season. They've got some really good players. They get some good dual registers with Hull FC. They've already got some good, talented players in there. So well coached by Richard Orr, who's had a distinguished career. So they've got a lot of things going for them.
Some other exciting fixtures of the weekend was Halifax managing to defeat a Super League team in London Broncos 24-16. That's a huge confidence boost for Halifax at this point of the season as well, despite it being inside the Challenge Cup.
Yeah, and I think also Halifax are another team that have been inconsistent this year.
They certainly have.
So to get a win over a Super League team is massive, and I think Richard Marshall had made some comments about his reserve team, some players that have come through reserve. I think 5 or 6 players that have come through reserve team, and I think they're already missing 6 regular players. So it's a massive win, and that's what Challenge Cup does. You can be having a poor season and you have one big win in a Challenge Cup, and it can reignite your season again. So massive well done to Halifax. What
about for London Broncos as they head back to the Super League competition? How do they sort of build off that loss to Halifax? It's pretty, not embarrassing you'd say, but it's something they certainly need to work on. You think that would have been an easy win for them? Yeah,
it's a game that Danny Wardy would have definitely wanted to win, but I think if you take the positives out of it, maybe just to concentrate on the Super League now. You get a couple of weeks more rest. His main priority, London's main priority, will be to survive in Super League for this season. So yeah, it's not nice to lose, but there's no embarrassment in losing to Halifax, and now they must concentrate on staying in Super League.
Well, this weekend is, of course, the Easter weekend, which means teams play in the Championship on Friday and also Monday. As for League One, all their games will be happening this Friday, and it starts with one of the big fixtures at Oldham Hunslet. What do you make of this match-up, Leon?
Yeah, I think Scott Naylor's men, they lost last week to Newcastle, so they'll be wanting to get back on the horse again and to get back into winning ways. And Hunslet also lost last week to Whitehaven, so they'll be the both
two teams coming off defeats.
Yes, which makes them dangerous. So for me, it's more important for Oldham to get the win. I think they've lost 2 already this season, maybe 3, so they'll definitely need the win more. And obviously, Hunslet losing was their first loss last week to Whitehaven, so yeah, I think Oldham is massive for them this game. And
what about for yourselves, Workington coming up against Whitehaven? That's a huge match-up for yourselves. What have you guys sort of worked on this week as you come up against Whitehaven?
We'll be training tomorrow night. There's a lot we need to make sure we got a full squad, really. We're struggling on numbers, but this is a really, really big game. There's a lot of hostility between the crowds, and Whitehaven are travelling really, really well. They had a really big win against Hunslet last week, and we're coming off of 2 losses really. So we need to get back into winning ways. So we'll be having a good chat tomorrow, and we need to get going again. Well, in the Championship, there are some exciting fixtures that you can see on your screen now. Let's take a look at one of the ones that stands out to myself is Featherstone Rovers up against the York City Knights. York are coming off a defeat in the Challenge Cup, and Featherstone, well, this is at home, so it certainly is a big match-up for them. Yeah, I think York picked up 6 injuries in that game, so lots of work for Fordy to do in galvanising his squad and just getting players fit, really. So, but York for me are a very, very good team, and even though they'll be down on numbers, are still very, very dangerous. They're sort of the dark horse at the moment in the Championship. They're sort of just cruising by, but managed to get some successful wins and also some pretty impressive wins as well, considering they have a few injury blows as well. Yeah, well, I would always watch York. Obviously, we had a good battle with them last year, but they picked up some really good players that people maybe not have heard of, but I knew were good players. So I think he's built his squad really, really well, and I'm not surprised at all by the way they've been travelling. Another close matchup is, of course, Sheffield Eagles up against Toulouse Olympique. This is a top-of-the-table clash, a team that do sit up within that, up amongst Toronto and the rest of them. I think Sheffield will take the home ground advantage, and they're certainly looking to build off this, but Toulouse, they've been in great form
as of recently, and they certainly look like they're going to be at the end of the season.
Yeah, they're a very talented team. They play some really skillful rugby.
They really throw the footy around.
Yeah. They really, especially in France. I mean, I've been over there and played against them, and we got beaten off the field by 60, 70 points for Bradford 2 years ago. So they're a team that's building nicely. Sheffield have been going really, really well, though. I mean, they've been up at the top end of the table and only really struggled against a really strong Toronto team. So, yeah, I like the look of Sheffield this year.
Widnes Vikings up against Lee Centurions. This will be a home advantage for Widnes. For Widnes, they're coming off a big win in the Challenge Cup, but also for them, they're in a sort of peculiar position because of what they did happen a couple of weeks ago in terms of administration. For them, how do they sort of rally together and continue this winning momentum to go through and really sort of throw a spanner in the works to the rest of the team, considering they might not be there based on points at the end?
I think they're already galvanised. I think you can tell by the performances. I think going through the administration was obviously very, very difficult, but what that does is it can bring you together. And I think you've seen from the performances already this year that they're a group, a united team, and they've managed to keep some of the best players in Gelling and what have you. So I think that the hardest bit's already been done for them.
Well, let's take a look ahead to Monday's fixtures. Easter Monday, everyone can get around this one. And one of the ones that stands out for this week for me is Featherstone Rovers up against Toronto. Now, everyone says Toronto should win this one easy, but for some reason, each and every week when Toronto are coming up, any of the teams in the championship, each team manages to arise. Maybe the fact that it's on Sky and it is televised, but Featherstone Rovers, I think they could, given it's at home in front of their home fans, it could cause an upset here.
Yeah. Like you said, it's like a cup final for every team. They know they're going to be on Sky. They know they're playing against a team that's full of superstars, if you like to call it that, and everybody raises their game, and that's why Toronto will find they'll struggle against some teams that maybe they're expected to roll over pretty easy. But Featherstone always play their field well, their own field well, because it's on a bit of a slope. They know how to play it well, so they'll be hurting from the performance against Bulls last weekend as well. So should be tasty.
Bradford Bulls up against Barra. That certainly is another good clash. I mean, each side have been consistent this season, but they certainly could go either way. Perhaps Bradford Bulls, given they'll be at the home ground advantage, but that's just not to say that Barrow couldn't come with away with this one.
No, Barrow will be looking for some improved performance. They've been a bit inconsistent. They started off really, really well, made some good signings, but I think just of late they've been a little bit inconsistent. Bradford will be wanting to continue their form after beating Featherstone in the last minute, so John Key will be wanting some consistency, so I think Bradford will be favourites for that one.
Widnes Vikings will travel to York, where they'll take on the York City Knights. Now, they obviously just faced off over the weekend, and York suffered a defeat to Widnes, and they'll be looking to get one back when they come up against them on Monday. Yeah,
and I think York will be in a position where they want, listen, we've got a lot to improve on. It's a big scoreline. It's not acceptable because, in the games they've played this year, they've been all nip and tuck, all very, very tight. So they'll be looking to get some bodies back on the field and make up for that loss.
Certainly is going to be an exciting weekend over the Easter weekend. Hopefully you can get out to all the games, catch all the League One and Championship games. Thanks so much for your time here in the Championship, Brad. Leon Price, thanks so much for your time.
Cheers.
And we'll be back next week.